Ladies and gentlemen, there's a power that comes with being comfortable in your own skin, a gift that so many overlook. We live in a world that's constantly telling us we need others to be whole, that our worth is somehow defined by the crowd we keep. But let me tell you something. Independence isn't loneliness, it's strength. It's wisdom. And it's something you can carry wherever you go. It's high time we stop relying on others to make us feel valued and start recognizing the value we carry on our own. Recognizing and appreciating your own value can be one of life's most profound and transformative journeys. It's about understanding that you don't need outside validation to feel complete or worthy. Instead, the strength to feel confident and content lies within you. Too often, we look outward for approval, hoping that others will recognize our talents, our goodness, our worth. We wait for someone to tell us that we're good enough, but that approach only leads to disappointment and dependency on a recognition that's constantly changing. When we learn to rely on our inner sense of self-worth, we begin to build a foundation that's solid and unshakable, one that doesn't waver no matter who is or isn't in our corner. When we appreciate our own value, we become less vulnerable to the opinions, judgments, or criticisms of others. People will always have their opinions, and no matter what we do, we'll never be able to control them. But if we let those opinions define how we see ourselves, we'll constantly be at their mercy. Learning to recognize our worth gives us the freedom to live for ourselves, not for others' expectations or standards. We become empowered to make choices based on our desires, not on what others want or think we should do. This kind of independence strengthens our spirit, allowing us to stay true to ourselves even in the face of adversity or opposition. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others, especially in a world that constantly bombards us with images of perfect lives, bodies, and successes. Social media can make it feel like everyone else has it all together, like they're achieving milestones or reaching goals faster than we are. But measuring ourselves against others only makes us feel inadequate or left behind. Recognizing your own value means embracing your unique journey. It's about celebrating your growth, your accomplishments, and your resilience. Each of us has a different path, and each step we take is meaningful. When you value yourself, you realize that you don't need to measure up to anyone else's standards or timelines. You are on your own journey, and that journey has purpose and worth all its own. There's a freedom that comes with self-acceptance. When you value yourself, you can face your strengths and weaknesses honestly. You begin to see yourself as a whole person, not just a collection of flaws or achievements. You recognize that you are more than your successes and failures, more than any single label or role. Self-acceptance allows you to embrace your imperfections, understanding that they don't diminish your worth. They make you human, relatable, and genuine. We all have things we want to work on or improve, but that doesn't mean we are any less valuable in the present. Accepting yourself means honoring who you are right now, knowing that you are enough even as you work to become better. As you start valuing yourself, you'll notice that you attract people and situations that align with your newfound confidence and self-worth. When you believe in yourself, it shows. Others can sense it, and it creates a ripple effect in your relationships. People who respect and appreciate you will gravitate toward you, while those who don't may drift away, and that's okay. Not everyone is meant to be in our lives forever. By recognizing your worth, you'll naturally create boundaries that protect your peace, welcoming positive influences while distancing yourself from negativity. This process may be challenging at first, especially if it means stepping away from relationships or environments that aren't supportive, but it's a necessary part of growth. When you value yourself, you make space for people who uplift and encourage you. Another powerful benefit of valuing yourself is that it frees you to pursue your passions and dreams without fear of failure or rejection. When you are confident in who you are willing to take risks and step out of your comfort zone. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. You're driven by a personal desire to grow and learn. You stop looking for approval because you know that your dreams are valid simply because they matter to you. Whether it's starting a new career, developing a skill, or creating something new, Recognizing your worth gives you the courage to pursue your goals with conviction. There will still be times of doubt, of course. Moments where you question yourself or feel insecure. This is part of being human. But when you've built a strong sense of self-worth, those doubts don't shake you as much. You've done the work to know who you are, to see your value, and to trust that you are enough. You understand that you are worthy not because of what you achieve or who approves of you, but simply because you exist, because you are uniquely you. This self-worth becomes an anchor, keeping you steady even when the tides of life get rough. Self-worth is not something that others can give or take away. It's something you must cultivate within yourself. You are the only one who can truly define your value. It takes time, patience, and practice. But once you see your own worth, you'll find a peace that no one can disturb. You'll discover a confidence that's rooted deeply in your own heart. And that, more than any external validation, is the greatest gift you can give yourself. Confidence is often seen as the key to success, but many misunderstand where true confidence actually comes from. It doesn't come from what people think about you or from the recognition and approval of others. True confidence is an inner state rooted in self-acceptance and inner peace. And it starts with knowing that you are enough just as you are. It's a quiet but powerful belief in yourself, a belief that isn't swayed by the praise or criticism of others. When you build confidence from within, you become less concerned with what the world thinks of you and more focused on living authentically, true to your own values and dreams. The foundation of inner confidence is self-trust. Trusting yourself is about knowing that, no matter what comes your way, you are capable of handling it. This trust isn't based on external accomplishments or the opinions of others. It's a faith that grows from understanding who you are and embracing all parts of yourself. When you know your own strengths and weaknesses, you don't feel the need to hide or prove anything to anyone. You can show up as you are without needing to put on a facade. This kind of confidence makes you resilient because you no longer rely on other people's approval to feel good about yourself. You're able to move forward in life with a sense of purpose and courage, regardless of what others might think or say. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of validation from others. Many people spend years, even decades, trying to live up to the expectations and standards set by society, family, or friends. But this path can lead to constant self-doubt, because the more you seek approval outside of yourself, the more dependent you become on other people's opinions. True confidence breaks that cycle. It gives you the freedom to live on your terms, guided by what matters to you. Instead of worrying about whether you're meeting other people's expectations, you focus on your own growth and happiness. You realize that it's your life to live, and only you can define what success and fulfillment mean to you. Building inner confidence requires honesty with yourself. It involves looking at your life and asking if you're truly living in alignment with who you are and what you believe in. It takes courage to face the parts of yourself that you may not be proud of, and even more courage to embrace them as part of your journey. But as you learn to accept yourself fully, without judgment, you also learn to believe in your ability to change, grow, and evolve. Confidence is not about being perfect. It's about being real, being human, and understanding that you have value just as you are. It's about knowing that you're always a work in progress, and that's okay. Confidence grows each time you make choices that honor your true self, rather than choices designed to impress or please others. When you have confidence from within, you're able to take risks and face challenges without fear of failure. You know that failing or making mistakes doesn't make you any less worthy or capable. Instead, each setback becomes an opportunity for growth, a chance to learn more about yourself and your path. People who seek confidence from outside sources often fear failure because they believe it will diminish their worth in the eyes of others. But when you have true inner confidence, you understand that your worth isn't tied to any single outcome. You see setbacks as part of the journey, not as a reflection of your value as a person. This perspective makes you resilient and allows you to face life's ups and downs with grace and strength. Inner confidence also frees you from the need to compare yourself to others. We live in a world that constantly encourages us to measure ourselves against other people who's more successful, more attractive, more popular. But confidence that comes from within isn't based on being better than anyone else. It's about being at peace with who you are. When you stop comparing, you open up space to appreciate your unique strengths, skills, and journey. You realize that you don't have to compete to prove your worth, because you're already enough. This realization allows you to focus on what truly matters to you, to pursue goals that fulfill you, and to celebrate other people's successes without feeling threatened or inadequate. True confidence doesn't mean you'll never have moments of self-doubt. Everyone does, even the most confident people. But the difference is that when you doubt yourself, you don't let it define you or hold you back. You know that you have the strength to overcome challenges, even if the path forward isn't always clear. Confidence from within is about trusting that you'll figure things out as you go. It's about having faith in your ability to adapt, learn, and grow. This belief in yourself becomes a steadying force, something you can rely on no matter what life throws your way. Confidence that comes from within is one of the most empowering gifts you can give yourself. It allows you to walk your own path, to make choices that honor your values, and to face life with a sense of purpose and determination. When you stop looking outside for validation, you gain a sense of freedom and independence that no one can take from you. You become the author of your own story, guided by an inner knowing that you are enough, exactly as you are. Learning to love your own company is an essential step in cultivating a fulfilling and independent life. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking constant external validation or relying on others for companionship and support. But when you develop the ability to enjoy and appreciate your own presence, you unlock a deeper sense of peace, freedom, and strength. Loving your own company is not about avoiding relationships or cutting yourself off from the world. Rather, it's about finding joy and contentment within yourself, so that you are not dependent on anyone else for your sense of happiness or worth. The first step to loving your own company is learning to appreciate solitude. Many people fear being alone because they associate solitude with loneliness or emptiness. But solitude is a powerful opportunity for self-reflection, self-care, and growth. When you spend time alone, you create the space to connect with your inner self. This time allows you to examine your thoughts, dreams, and desires without the influence of others. In solitude, you get to know yourself more deeply, free from distractions. You can discover what truly matters to you, what brings you joy, and what makes you feel alive. Over time, this self-awareness helps you become more grounded, more confident, and more content with who you are. One of the most profound aspects of learning to love your own company is gaining the ability to be self-sufficient. Many people seek others' company because they fear they won't feel complete or fulfilled on their own. However, when you learn to enjoy your own presence, you realize that you are more than enough. You begin to understand that you don't need anyone else to fill a void or give you a sense of worth. You are whole on your own, and your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else's actions, opinions, or approval. This realization is incredibly empowering. It allows you to step into life with confidence, knowing that you are capable of creating your own happiness and fulfillment. Self-sufficiency doesn't mean you cut yourself off from others. It means that you're not relying on others to define your happiness or sense of value. You find joy in your own company, and this inner peace radiates outward, enriching all of your relationships. Loving your own company also means learning how to entertain yourself and find joy in your own activities. This might sound simple, but for many, it's a challenge. People are often so used to being surrounded by others, whether it's in social situations, at work, or through technology, that they forget how to find joy in solo activities. When you embrace your own company, you start to rediscover hobbies, passions, and interests that bring you satisfaction and happiness. Whether it's reading, writing, painting, cooking, exercising, or simply going for a walk in nature, these solitary activities allow you to reconnect with what you truly enjoy. In these moments, you're not trying to impress anyone or fulfill someone else's expectations. You're doing what feels good for you. This freedom to pursue your own interests without outside influence fosters a deep sense of satisfaction. You start to see that you don't need anyone else to entertain you or make you happy. You have everything you need within yourself. Spending time alone also gives you the opportunity to practice self-care in ways that are meaningful to you. Self-care is not just about pampering yourself, it's about nourishing your mind, body, and soul. When you love your own company, you take the time to care for yourself in ways that promote your well-being and happiness. This could involve activities like meditating, journaling, exercising, eating nourishing food, or simply resting. The more you practice self-care, the more you reinforce the belief that you are worthy of attention, love, and respect, starting with yourself. Taking care of yourself is an act of self-love, and it helps you feel more balanced and centered, which is crucial for cultivating happiness and peace. Loving your own company also strengthens your emotional resilience. When you rely on others to fulfill your emotional needs, you become vulnerable to the ups and downs of relationships. If someone lets you down or doesn't meet your expectations, it can deeply affect your emotional state. However, when you learn to love your own company, you become less dependent on others to provide emotional support. You start to find ways to manage your own emotions, confront challenges, and process difficult feelings independently. This doesn't mean you cut yourself off from others or refuse help when needed, but rather that you cultivate the strength and self-awareness to handle life's ups and downs on your own. You learn to rely on your own emotional resources, which builds a sense of inner security and stability. When you love your own company, you also become more intentional about the relationships you nurture. You no longer feel the need to force connections or surround yourself with people just for the sake of having company. Instead, you start to prioritize relationships that add value to your life. You become more discerning about who you spend your time with, seeking out those who support, uplift, and encourage you. Because you're comfortable in your own presence, you no longer feel the pressure to be constantly social or surround yourself with people to feel validated. This creates more space for meaningful, authentic relationships rather than shallow connections that are built out of obligation or loneliness. Another benefit of loving your own company is that it helps you become more present in your life. When you're constantly seeking validation or attention from others, your focus is often on external factors. But when you learn to enjoy solitude, you become more in tune with the present moment. You're able to savor life's simple pleasures and appreciate the world around you without distractions. This mindfulness helps you feel more centered and calm, allowing you to experience life more fully. Whether it's enjoying a cup of coffee in the morning or taking a walk through a park, being comfortable in your own company allows you to be more present and connected to the world. Loving your own company is also an ongoing process of growth and self-discovery. The more time you spend with yourself, the more you learn about who you are, what you need, and what makes you happy. It's a continual journey of exploring your thoughts, emotions, and desires. The more comfortable you become with yourself, the more you're able to adapt and evolve as a person. You begin to see that your value isn't tied to what others think of you or what you achieve. It's inherent in who you are, and by spending time alone, you cultivate a deeper understanding of your true self. This journey of self-love and self-awareness enables you to live a more authentic, fulfilling life, centered around your own needs and desires. Loving your own company is a practice that brings a sense of freedom, independence, and inner peace. When you can appreciate and enjoy your own presence, you develop a profound sense of confidence and resilience. You realize that you don't need to seek validation from others to feel fulfilled. Instead, you can create your own happiness, pursue your passions, and build a life that aligns with your values and desires. As you learn to love your own company, you become more attuned to your true self, more grounded in your own worth, and more equipped to navigate life's challenges with strength and grace. Developing a deep sense of self-worth is the cornerstone of loving your own company. It's easy to believe that your value comes from the approval of others, from external accomplishments, or from meeting societal expectations. But true self-worth doesn't depend on any of these things. It comes from recognizing that you are inherently valuable, regardless of your achievements or the opinions of others. When you begin to develop this sense of self-worth, it becomes easier to appreciate and enjoy your own company because you no longer feel the need to rely on external validation for your happiness or sense of purpose. The first step toward building genuine self-worth is recognizing your own inherent value. Every person has unique qualities, talents, and perspectives that make them worthy of respect and love. The journey to self-worth starts with acknowledging these qualities in yourself. This is not about arrogance or overinflated pride, but about recognizing your intrinsic worth as a human being. You deserve love, kindness, and respect simply because you exist. Often people look for validation from others, hoping that someone will tell them they're valuable, successful, or good enough. But relying on others for this sense of worth is precarious because it leaves you vulnerable to judgment and disappointment. When you begin to acknowledge your own value, you stop seeking external approval and start finding validation within yourself. You learn that your worth is not dependent on meeting someone else's standards, but on being true to who you are. Part of building self-worth involves recognizing and accepting your imperfections. No one is perfect, and trying to be perfect is a losing battle. It's your flaws, vulnerabilities, and mistakes that make you human, and accepting these parts of yourself is key to building self-worth. When you embrace your imperfections, you free yourself from the unrealistic expectation that you must always be flawless. Instead, you accept that making mistakes is part of being human, and that each mistake is an opportunity for growth. By letting go of the need to be perfect, you give yourself permission to be imperfectly, wonderfully you. This shift in perspective allows you to see your worth as something unshakable, independent of any mistakes or shortcomings. Self-worth also means acknowledging your achievements and strengths. Many people downplay their successes or fail to recognize their own accomplishments because they feel that they should always be striving for more. But part of developing self-worth is taking the time to reflect on what you've already achieved. Whether it's overcoming personal challenges, reaching milestones, or simply being resilient in the face of adversity, your achievements are evidence of your strength and capability. When you recognize and celebrate these moments, you reinforce the belief that you are capable and worthy of success. You also learn to appreciate your own efforts, which builds a sense of confidence and self-respect. This self-recognition doesn't mean becoming boastful, but rather taking pride in who you are and what you've accomplished without needing validation from others. A big part of building self-worth is learning to set healthy boundaries. People with strong self-worth understand that they deserve to be treated with respect, and they are not afraid to protect their time, energy, and emotions. Setting boundaries means saying no when something doesn't serve you, standing up for yourself when necessary, and creating space for the things that are important to you. Boundaries help you protect your well-being and ensure that you don't give more of yourself than you have to offer. When you set boundaries, you are essentially communicating that you value yourself enough to safeguard your energy and resources. This is a powerful act of self-respect that reinforces your sense of self-worth. It also teaches others how to treat you and what you are willing to tolerate in relationships. Building self-worth is also about letting go of negative self-talk. Many people struggle with an internal narrative that tells them they aren't good enough or that they'll never measure up to others. This inner critic can be incredibly destructive, but it can also be challenged. Developing self-worth means learning to identify and quiet this negative voice. Instead of allowing self-doubt to take over, you replace it with affirmations of your value and abilities. You remind yourself that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of happiness, no matter what challenges you face. This shift in your inner dialogue is essential to building lasting self-worth, because it reinforces the belief that you have the power to shape your own sense of identity and worth. Finding strength in solitude is one of the most valuable and underestimated skills in life. Many people view solitude as something to avoid, associating it with loneliness or isolation. But solitude is entirely different. It's about intentionally creating space for yourself, a chance to connect with who you are beneath the surface. In a world where we're constantly surrounded by noise, distractions, and other people's opinions, finding strength in solitude becomes a vital tool for personal growth and resilience. It's within these quiet moments alone that you can truly explore your own thoughts, dreams, and desires without interference, discovering a powerful inner strength that's always been within you. When you're comfortable being alone, you develop a self-reliance that's incredibly freeing. Many people are uncomfortable with solitude because they rely on external sources for validation and comfort. They feel uneasy without someone else around to reassure them, entertain them, or provide them with a sense of belonging. But when you learn to find strength in solitude, you realize that your self-worth isn't tied to anyone else's presence or opinion. You understand that you have everything you need within yourself to be content and whole. This independence allows you to live without constantly needing someone else's company or approval to feel fulfilled, and it builds a foundation of self-assurance that can't be easily shaken. Solitude offers an opportunity for introspection, a time to reflect on your life without distractions. In the busyness of daily life, we rarely take the time to sit with our thoughts and ask ourselves deep questions about who we are, what we want, and where we're going. But when you make time for solitude, you open up space for self-discovery. You start to see patterns in your behavior, noticing what drives you, what holds you back, and what truly makes you happy. This process of self-reflection helps you understand yourself on a deeper level, which in turn makes you stronger. You become more aware of your own mind, more attuned to your inner voice, and more grounded in your own identity. This strength in solitude also empowers you to make decisions that align with your values. When you're comfortable with being alone, you don't feel pressure to conform to others' expectations or choices. You know yourself well enough to make choices based on your own beliefs rather than simply following the crowd. Solitude gives you the courage to stand firm in your convictions, even if they aren't popular or widely understood. This inner strength makes you resilient because you're not swayed by external pressures. You know what matters to you, and you have the clarity and confidence to act accordingly, which is essential for living a life that feels true and meaningful. Another benefit of solitude is that it enhances your creativity and problem-solving abilities. When you're alone with your thoughts, without interruptions or outside influence, your mind has the freedom to wander, explore, and create. Ideas come more easily when you're not trying to keep up with the pace of others. This is why many artists, writers, and thinkers actively seek solitude. They know that some of their best work happens in moments of quiet reflection. In solitude, you have the chance to explore new ideas, imagine possibilities, and solve problems in innovative ways. This creative flow strengthens your mind, allowing you to approach challenges with a fresh perspective and deeper insight. Solitude also helps you build emotional resilience. When you're comfortable in your own company, you're less likely to feel anxious or uncomfortable during moments of stillness or silence. Many people fill their lives with distractions, social media, constant social interactions, endless activities because they're uncomfortable with quiet or afraid of facing their own thoughts. But when you embrace solitude, you become more at ease with yourself and your emotions. You learn to process your feelings rather than avoid them, which makes you more emotionally balanced. This emotional resilience makes it easier to face difficult situations or periods of loneliness because you know that you're capable of handling them on your own. Being alone also gives you the space to recharge and recenter yourself. In a world that often values constant productivity and socializing, solitude allows you to slow down and focus on your well-being. This time to recharge is essential for mental, emotional, and even physical health. When you're alone, you can rest without pressure, engage in activities that bring you joy, and reconnect with what truly matters to you. This self-care builds inner strength because it reminds you that you don't need to rely on others to feel at peace or to enjoy your own company. You can find contentment within yourself, which is a powerful foundation for happiness. Finding strength in solitude also means developing a deep appreciation for who you are. As you spend time alone, you start to notice qualities about yourself that you may have overlooked. You recognize your unique perspective, your personal strengths, and your ability to grow and adapt. This self-awareness fosters a sense of pride and gratitude for who you are, and it boosts your self-confidence. The more comfortable you become in solitude, the more you realize that you're not just enough, you're valuable, capable, and worthy of respect. This self-respect builds a quiet confidence that stays with you, even in challenging times. In solitude, you come to understand that you are not defined by your relationships or the roles you play in other people's lives. You are a whole person, complete in yourself, with dreams, goals, and a sense of purpose that doesn't depend on anyone else. This realization is incredibly empowering. It allows you to move through life with a sense of independence and inner peace. You're no longer afraid of being alone because you know that solitude is not an emptiness to be filled. It's a space where you can discover the fullness of who you are. The journey to self-acceptance is one that requires courage and patience, but it's one of the most rewarding paths you can take. Self-acceptance is about acknowledging and embracing all parts of yourself, even those that may feel imperfect or unworthy. In a world that constantly urges us to strive for more, to be better, smarter, and more successful, self-acceptance can seem like a radical act. It's not about settling or giving up on improvement, it's about knowing your worth without needing to prove it. When you fully accept yourself, you become grounded in who you are. This inner stability empowers you to pursue goals and build relationships with an authentic sense of peace and confidence. Self-acceptance starts with recognizing that you are enough, just as you are. It means looking beyond the image you present to the world and embracing all aspects of yourself, even the ones that you might feel tempted to hide. For many people, this is a challenging step. We're often taught to believe that our worth is tied to external achievements or the approval of others. So when we fall short of these expectations, we may feel inadequate. However, self-acceptance invites you to see beyond these external measures. It's about understanding that you're inherently valuable, even if you're not perfect. Embracing your imperfections, your flaws, and your unique quirks is an essential part of the process. These traits make you human, and they add depth to your character. When you can look at yourself and accept your whole self, you create a solid foundation for genuine confidence and resilience. One of the hardest parts of self-acceptance is learning to let go of self-judgment. Many people are their own harshest critics, constantly focusing on what they could have done better or where they feel they've fallen short. This self-critical voice can be incredibly discouraging, and over time, it can erode your self-esteem. Practicing self-compassion, on the other hand, helps you replace judgment with understanding and patience. When you make a mistake, rather than beating yourself up, you can choose to treat yourself with kindness. Ask yourself, what would I say to a friend in this situation? Chances are, you'd offer them support and reassurance rather than harsh criticism. Extending that same compassion to yourself is a powerful act of self-acceptance. It reminds you that you're allowed to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love and respect. Self-acceptance also involves letting go of the need for external validation. When you're constantly looking to others for approval, you're giving them the power to define your worth. This makes you vulnerable to the opinions and judgments of those around you, leaving you in a cycle of seeking validation. Self-acceptance frees you from this cycle. When you know your own value, you don't rely on others to feel complete. You're able to make choices based on what feels right for you, rather than what will please or impress others. This independence allows you to build a life that aligns with your true self, rather than a life built around other people's expectations. Accepting yourself fully also means acknowledging your past experiences without allowing them to define you. Everyone carries some baggage, memories of failures, regrets, and painful moments. These experiences shape you, but they don't determine who you are. Self-acceptance means making peace with your past, recognizing that you've grown and evolved since those experiences. Rather than seeing your past as a source of shame, you can view it as a testament to your resilience. You faced challenges and made it through, and those experiences have helped you become who you are today. Self-acceptance means taking pride in your journey, recognizing that every step has added to your strength and wisdom. As you work on self-acceptance, you begin to realize that comparing yourself to others is both unnecessary and unproductive. Society encourages us to measure ourselves against one another, whether it's through social media, career achievements, or personal milestones. But when you're focused on self-acceptance, you understand that everyone's journey is unique. There's no universal standard you need to meet to be good enough. Your path is yours alone, with its own pace and direction. Rather than feeling threatened or inadequate when you see someone else succeed, you can appreciate their journey while remaining grounded in your own. This shift in perspective makes life feel less like a competition and more like an opportunity for growth. Another powerful aspect of self-acceptance is that it helps you set healthy boundaries. When you accept yourself, you understand that your time, energy, and well-being are valuable. You're more likely to protect these resources because you know that you deserve respect and care. This means being able to say no when something doesn't serve you, without feeling guilty or worried about disappointing others. Boundaries are a form of self-respect, and when you practice them, you reinforce your sense of self-worth. By setting boundaries, you're not only honoring yourself, you're also teaching others how to treat you. People who respect your boundaries are more likely to appreciate and value you for who you truly are. Self-acceptance ultimately leads to inner peace. When you accept yourself, you're no longer at war with yourself. You don't feel the constant pressure to prove or improve yourself to meet others' expectations. Instead, you're able to focus on what truly matters to you, living in alignment with your values and goals. This sense of peace is liberating because it frees up energy that would otherwise be spent on self-doubt and insecurity. You become more present, more content, and more open to the experiences and relationships that bring genuine fulfillment. Finding self-acceptance is a journey, one that requires ongoing commitment and patience. There will be times when old insecurities resurface, or when you struggle with self-doubt. But each time you choose to accept yourself as you are, you strengthen your sense of self-worth. This ongoing process makes you resilient, confident, and at peace with who you are.